I would like to call the November 10, 2025 Harbor Commission work session to order. Director Fry.
Thank you, everybody, for attending tonight. So Lisa Gabriel, a Harbor Commission member, sent in an email about a month ago that is attached to the packet of this work session. So we decided, us in the clerk's office, reviewing her email that was essentially questioning whether the Harbor Commission served a purpose anymore. So we just decided it would be good to get the Harbor Commission together, have a work session, discuss the purpose of the Harbor Commission and whether we think it's still a valid thing to be having at this time. So I will point out to Lisa that we do only have 3 people here right now from the Harbor Commission of the 4. So currently, unless Zach shows up, we do not have a quorum for having a meeting after this. But I guess that's where I wanted to do an introduction, and then we can go from there.
So the discussion that we're supposed to have tonight is going to be about the commission's role, future status, and possibly sunsetting the commission. There are other commissions within the city that can do the same functions as the Harbor Commission. So let's open the discussion. Matt, do you have anything to add?
I agree with Lisa on this email. We're all here to serve, and I'm happy to, but if there's no agenda items and it's hard to reach a quorum, and now with the parks taking over the dip netting stuff, and it just seems like it could be easily merged to another commission.
You can go ahead, Lisa. We're asking you to unmute, so I think you might have to unmute on your end. I think all we can do is ask you to unmute, Lisa, so you have to unmute on your end. We can't unmute it.
You open the chat and write something to it if you want. In the middle of the screen or call it.
I have her phone number. Do you want her number?
I'm just gonna text her. Lisa, we're sending you Kevin's phone number, and then we could just call you and get you into the meeting through the microphone here.
All right, you're on speakerphone.
Okay, very good, thank you. So I'm
Lisa,
gonna go
did you
ahead
have
and-
did you have anything you wanted to add outside of your email about sunsetting or?
Pretty much what I put into my email is, I think were the important parts. This is my 2.5 year mark of being a commissioner on the Harbor Commission. And I honestly, thinking back, I'm trying to recall anything that we really did as a commission that required us to do anything, if you can understand that. So we've been trying to create agendas. We have lack of quorum a lot of the time, and we have a hard time keeping commissioners. And I think that's pretty apparent by our numbers now. So you guys can still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So without, any future projects in the foreseeable future, the bluff restoration has been, revitalization has been completed. We have another committee, like Matt had said, is that we have other committees that can work with the projects along the harbor and stuff like that. So unless we see something, a big project here in the next, 6 months even, I don't see the point of going on as a commission at this point. So, and my position is actually up at the end of December, and I will not be applying or reapplying. So.
Thank you, Ms.
That's all I have.
Gabriel. I appreciate that. Excuse me, and I do agree that what the Harbor Commission does is truly can be duplicated within other commissions. Not that there isn't some sort of sentimental, feelings about, the Harbor Commission going through everything we did with working with planning and zoning and working with the city and looking at the future of the harbor. It's a very bright future, and I'm looking forward to seeing it happen. But I agree with you that I don't think the Harbor Commission has to be the ones doing it. I think there's plenty of other commissions that can help out with that project.
And I can speak a little bit on the code requirements for what the Harbor Commission's doing in some of these things that could easily go to another commission. I know that's why Kevin, our planning director, is here tonight, because some of those things could go to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The main duties and powers of the Harbor Commission, the first one is review and provide recommendations on any master plans for development of harbor or the port facilities for the city. So that's not really anything that we have going at this time. So like we were talking about, if something did happen in the future, we could see that happening or see a need for that. But with the current, nothing happening in that area, nothing to act on there. So number 2 is act in advisory capacity, the council administration regarding matters related to city harbor facilities, tide, submerged lands, make recommendations to council administration relative to care, control, and development of tide and submerged lands. And I think the most of what we're doing right now is with the dock, and it's busy for the month. Parks and Rec is kind of handling the dip net side of that. Public Works handles the dock itself, and getting floats in and out, dealing with the people that are using the dock. We manage that lease when we lease out those facilities. A lot of things like the buoys that go in the water for people to tie off to are actually managed by the Corps of Engineers for the waterway, not by the city. So a lot of those activities we're going to keep doing anyway, but it's a lot of business as usual in that. It's not anything that's really changing. The third is talking about capital improvements, which again, we're working on new floats right now. We're going to try and work on some improvements to the concrete there, but then again, those are just things that we're going to be working on regularly as O&M for the city. And 4 is review all city leases and city-owned tide and submerged lands to make recommendations. That's an easy task that could be moved over to Planning and Zoning Commission. 5 and 6 are providing recommendations to city council and administration as requested. And 6 is provide recommendations as requested for qualifications for harbor master. So I am the ad hoc harbor master, but as we don't really have a harbor, I'm basically just managing the city dock. So that's about it.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, moving on to D, public comments. Are there any remote attendees wishing to speak besides Ms. Gabriel? No? Okay. So with that, we'll move on to E and adjourn this work session. Thank you. I would like to call the November 10, 2025 Harbor Commission regular meeting to order. If you're able, please stand and join with me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have the roll call, please? Here.
Here.
I'm here. I'm here, Jeannie. If she's calling, I just can't hear the clerk. There you
Okay.
go.
And Commissioner Rohr.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Is there any motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
I second.
Are there any revisions to the agenda? Hearing none, are there any objections to approving the agenda as presented? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Moving on to B, scheduled public comments. At this time, we have none? We have no scheduled public comments. Unscheduled public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on any item not appearing on the agenda? Are there any remote attendees wishing to speak? Okay. Moving on to the approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the April 7, 2025 minutes?
I motion to approve.
And I second.
Thank you. Are there any revisions to the minutes? Hearing none, are there any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. The next E is unfinished business, and we have none. The next F is discussion or action to review the commission role, future status, and possible sunset. I'd like to open the discussion between the commissioners.
What was discussed in this workshop is
Okay, that's a fair question. We talked about the fact that there are other commissions that can overlap and take over what the harbor was doing. And that City Manager Eubanks also mentioned that what we sunset today, or what we start the process for sunsetting today, we can also unset it should there new projects come in that the Harbor Commission is needed for.
yeah, I mean, I think, if I understand it, like our role is to bring stuff from the public to the city council if there's anything, during the dip net season when, we don't even have a harbor really. We have this commission, we don't have a harbor, but if we have anything waterfront, I made a QR code during dip netting season and laminated it, put it all over the place. If you have any suggestions, and I got 2, the entire, I got veteran discount and maybe some paid cleaning tables, but right next door they have cleaning tables. So out of the thousands and thousands of people, those are the only 2 comments we got. And if that's the only benefit that this commission is gonna, maybe it is time to sunset it. So those are my
Thank you.
thoughts on it.
Anyone else? Hearing none, let's move on to, go ahead.
I guess I wanted to speak a little bit to the process. So I was speaking with the clerk about this. If the Harbor Commission wants to move forward with recommending a possible sunset, that would be an action item for tonight. They would want to recommend it, so that can go to City Council, and City Council can review that action. Reviewing with legal, we thought the best way to move forward after that would be they would come forward with an item looking at how Harbor Commission would need to be repealed from the Kenai City Municipal Code. So those recommendations would come to Harbor Commission, so we would have one more meeting essentially just to review the recommendations, code changes. We would approve those, and then those would go to City Council for final approval. At that point, the commission would sunset. So we would be looking, if that's the direction that Harbor Commission would like to move, we would be looking for an action item recommending sunset, and then we could move forward from there.
I have a question. So would that be part of your report, or is that different?
That would be different.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any questions about Director Fry's comments?
One question I would have is if we don't have a quorum for that next meeting, what do we just have to wait till new people get nominated or apply?
I don't think we would necessarily have to. I think it would just be the best in the public process to do that, but if a meeting didn't happen, it would still go to City Council. So if somebody wanted to speak on it in public forum, they could still go to City Council, and City Council could move forward that recommendation without a vote of recommendation from Harbor Commission at that time.
Okay, Director Fry, if there's no further comments, can we have your report, please?
Yeah.
Do we have to make a motion then to send that agenda? Yeah.
Okay, then.
I'd like to make a motion, please.
Thank you. Go ahead, Lisa.
Thank you. I motion to move that the consideration of the sunset of the Harbor Commission of the City of Kenai be moved to the next City Council meeting for the consideration by the City Council.
I second it.
We'll need a vote. Can you call the roll, please?
Yes, okay.
Commissioner Gabriel,
Yes.
Commissioner Keaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Moffett,
Yes.
Commissioner Rohr.
Yes.
Unanimous is yes.
Having a unanimous vote on the motion to recommend sunsetting the Harbor Commission to the City Council, we will now ask Director Fry for his report.
Thank you. So I know we did have some conversation around dip netting here. Tyler Best, the Parks and Recreation Director, did finish the dip net report for this year. I believe that's in the City Council packet. It's either in this one or the last one. If you'd like to go on and look at that information and see how many people we had and the dollar figures and all those types of things, that's all available. On the harbor, or on the dock side, we have finally received our new floats to build our new dock floats. So we now have all the lumber, all the new angle iron and everything to build all the floats, and the floats finally shipped up. So we've got all that over at our shop, and our plan is for our streets crew to be working on that this winter. And unless we have a really heavy snowfall year and they're constantly on the roads, but if they've got some downtime, that's what we're planning on. A side project for them is to start building some of those new dock floats so we can get those out next spring.
Great, thank you. I have no report, so for Councilmember Daniels, may we have your report, please?
Certainly, and I'll keep it brief. A
few things of note. Big one is for elections, we elected Henry Naxett, not we, but the city, the public elected Henry Naxett as mayor. And then a new council member, Bridget Grimmie, is on council now, so that's exciting. That made a vacancy for the council, so we will put in applications now, and that should be decided the next meeting. So that's very exciting. Vice Mayor Askin was elected this last council meeting, so we have a new vice mayor as well. A couple big things to note in the last few meetings. Let's see here. The Bronze Bear, we accepted the bronze brown bear statue from the chamber that's been installed at the airport. If you haven't gotten to look at that yet, it's done, it's out there. It'll turn out pretty nice. Let's see what else we got going on here. Another big one that of note is, I'm sure you all heard that the Challenger Learning Center is closing. 15th of this month is when the lease is terminated and then reverts back to the city. No real news yet. We're still getting assessments done on what will happen there with that facility. But that's going to be another one coming up. That's going to be a big one. And let's see, what else? You know what? I'm just going to leave it at that. If you guys have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Councilmember Dothett, or sorry, Daniels. Any public comments? Are there any remote attendees wishing to speak? Okay, thank you. And let's talk about our next meeting notification for February 10th, 2026. Is anyone planning to be absent or attending remotely?
Just wanted to let you know, remember I discussed, and I'm sorry, I should have raised my hand, but that I will not be reapplying in December. So if there's a possibility, we could talk to the clerk and move this meeting, our last meeting, up to before the end of the year, if that makes sense. Maybe a conversation with the clerk.
Thank you, Commissioner Gabriel. I agree. It would be probably to our advantage to have the meeting before February. Does anybody have any issues with the December date of December 3rd? Is that right? No, that's City Council, sorry. Light blue. I don't see light blue on there at all.
I believe a December date would be a change from the clerk, that she would actually have to make a correction and add a meeting for us to do that.
Okay. So it would most likely be December 8th. That would be the second Monday, right?
That looks correct. I did discuss with the clerk about, we were discussing having a special meeting to potentially do this sooner rather than later, since the next meeting wasn't scheduled till February if this moved forward, so.
So is that something we ask the clerk to do specifically through okay, great. We'll do that. Do either one of you guys have conflict on December 8th? Great. That's encouraging. Ms. Gabriel, do you have a conflict on December 8th?
No, I'll be there December 8th.
Perfect, thank you. Moving on to commissioner comments and questions. Commissioner Rohr.
Nope. Nothing.
Commissioner Moffett.
None.
Okay, the only comment I can make at this point in time is I just want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank everybody for their service and their time and effort into some of the projects that we worked with other commissions. Ms. Gabriel, do you have any comments?
No, other than I would say to all of the members that are there is, there's a lot of great commissions in the city, and there's a lot of work to be done on those commissions. So I would just recommend that people branch out and apply, there's several vacancies right now. So I would encourage that.
Thank you very much. Seeing no further business before this body, we are adjourned.